Can you 3D print a collectible? That's the question I asked myself as I began this project. My original idea was to make a collection of 8 characters to give to my girlfriend, but of course, I still have to finish my first character, so welcome back to my first test print of Katastara, my self-made collectible. If you're new to the channel, you can go to my collectible design series and catch up to this video. We're picking up right after I began testing my joints. Like I said previously, it's always better to print these joints just before using a lot of material on the final thing. From our first test print, we can see that the entry hole of the joints is too small for them to fit in comfortably. Luckily, I can easily edit my joints before adding them onto the model. My fixes are very quick. I just need to make the entry hole bigger so we have more leeway. With these adjustments done, I take a leap of faith.
That's all it is, Miles. A leap of faith.
And prepare the different parts of the model to blend with the joints. For this, we need 2 requirements. First, we need to have each part of Katastara with a very precise clean cut where we'll add our joints and some space in between, just for tolerance issues. You know, sometimes the filament can expand or contract or just hop right onto another dimension. Depends on your world settings. Now that my head is prepared, I just take out the joint from its mesh and focus on these 2 objects for ease of procedure. This is a very straightforward step. Add a boolean modifier to the head, select the union tab, and we are done. For the opposite part of the joint, we need to add a little extra step. After grabbing the torso and the entry joint, we just need to edit the mesh of the joint. What we need to use is the entry hole for the joint. We just get rid of the mesh surrounding the hole and then fill the hole to turn this into a bigger joint than the one we use for the head. We extrude the top of the joint so it stands out from the torso and allows us to make the precise cut in the torso. And then again, add a boolean and use the base difference option so we get the hole. I'm applying all my booleans here due to my overconfidence in my process. But yeah, don't do that. It's always better to have copies upon copies of every little thing you need. Trust me, I'm still learning that the hard way. Just don't make copies of your files. That looks very messy. I mean, if you work with Maya, then it's fine. Maya sucks so much, so that's okay. But Blender can handle it.
I'm tired, boss.
Also, let's take a break, because here you can finally watch me think clearly for once. I might still need to do more adjustments to my joints, so I decided to go back and readjust the joints to test them before printing the whole thing. So once again, here we are, printing the joints, so I'm going to get them off the base. Just excuse the mess. We tried the glue trick, but our glue bar was old and lumpy, and I haven't gotten around to cleaning it. Whoops, that just flew off. Oh, there it is. Alright, test number 2. And yeah, I think it works. It spins quite nicely. It's a little loose though, but I approve. And just so you know I'm not lying, we also have the small joint fitting in nicely as well. Now the hardest joint, the hinge joint. This should work fine. However, they may be a little small to work with. Nope. Alright, again. Nope, I think it doesn't work. Well, that sucks. Well, that was bad. However, we do know that our pivot joints work and fit together, so that's some good news. This is the perfect excuse for me to just continue doing what I was already doing and just keep adding the pivot joints. I'll look into my hinge joints later. After all, I already began joining everything. Alright, so we'll begin connecting the torso with the hips. Before that, I'll also adjust this weird deformation. I don't know why this keeps happening to my models. Now I move into the arms. I thought this would be pretty easy. Just cut from the arms with torso mesh and call it a day. But luckily enough for me, I realized that this cut wasn't clean like I already said. There's a little bit of circumference on my arm cut. So yeah, I have to get my hands dirty and keep pulling vertices. Yeah, so just flatten this shoulder part and make it a little smaller. I'm going to cut the torso with the arm now. That way I can make sure that the movement of the arm is as smooth as possible. Once the shoulder is flat where the joint should be, I duplicate and make it bigger. Again, for tolerance reasons. Don't forget that. It's very, very important. Once the boolean is applied to the torso, I apply the boolean to the arm, and then the boolean to the torso, and then boolean all around. Alright, I'm going to try and speed through this so you don't get bored. I go to the bottom of the torso. Huzzah! It has no faces. That saves me the boolean step and allows me to make a poor man's caveman boolean process. My legs suck a lot, so I'm going to fix the geometry with a sphere so I can recover some of the shape. Yeah, that looks good enough. Boolean, sculpt. Why does it look bad? What? What kind of boolean is this? And it has double faces? I could have done that myself. Wait, those are 3 faces now. I fixed it. Yeah, so I guess I just paused my recording here and the video literally just skips over to here. I just cut off the top part of the leg and extruded it to get the shape I wanted with cleaner meshes. Again, this was a 2-hour process, so I think it's great we skipped it. So now I follow the same procedure as with the arms. Just cut it up with the geometry of the appendage we're going to join. Boolean, boolean, boolean. Next joint, the hands. Since this is my first test, I want to see how good of an idea it could be to make the hands posable. I mean, she still needs her staff and book, right? Now we move into the tail. This part was the one that messed with my brain the most. Yes, it felt really weird to join the beginning of the tail to the hips, but it should give us the results we need. But yeah, that is all of the pivot joints, which means we have to finally address the problem of the hinge joints. And for this, I'm going to go for the legs. For this, I position the joints and then cut them in 2. I fill in the foot and add a boolean into this piece. Easy peasy. The problem begins now. I wouldn't feel comfortable having this big hole for the joint in the middle of the leg, so I'ma steal the action figure look and add the knee mesh while I cut up some space from behind for the rotation to happen on the angles where it makes sense. I cut up this very nice looking curve just for the aesthetics, join it all, and then lose my mind. Why? Well, I still feel like there's this very big gap between the bottom and top of the leg. However,
it's my first day.
And yeah, I am very quickly forgetting the logic of the knee bend due to the stroke I'm going through with this process. Who would have known? But yeah, I'll keep adjusting the mesh a lot, because again, the boolean didn't boolean properly. But yeah, soon after that, I realized that what I was doing was wrong and decided to fix it. Then I got another stroke, but I recovered. I realized that yeah, I need the space that I already had, but I can give the side of the bottom leg hinge some more shape so it looks more organic. And that was the leg. So now, before I quickly forget how I even did this, I'm going to keep adding these joints. So I go to the arm, and sadly, I'm going to have to cut this little detail I gave her, just so her movement makes sense. But at least the addition of the joints was easier in my head this time. Now, all we have to do is add the joints to the tail. This process has the benefit of not needing to move on a range of just 90 degrees, which is way more helpful for me. Also, since this chain is pretty much the same, I can just get one link of this chain and just duplicate it to the rest of the tail. And yeah, the tip of the tail ended up looking smaller. But I mean, I can't complain after all this time spent. Plus, what matters most to me now is just to test the hinge joints. And for me, the way I do this is by printing the feet. These are the biggest pieces using these kind of joints, which means I can be more confident that it will fit and not give in like with my previous test. So here's my test leg. I'm going to get it off the print bed and try to carefully get rid of the supports, and now the moment of truth. Will these pieces fit? Oh, yeah, I think it does fit, and it moves quite nicely, and it's gone. Well, but shut up, sorry. But yeah, in the end, it actually did work better than I expected, so I took the liberty of just printing the rest of the model. So this is the torso. It looks like there was some printing issues with the hole, but hopefully it shouldn't be any problem. Now I just have to get rid of the supports. Hi there, Oreo. Sorry guys, seems like Oreo's a little jealous of the attention my new cat is getting. Ooh, well, that's pretty bad. It seems like I snapped the hinge right off the head. Well, at least that's just one small piece I can redo. And yep, the hips and the torso don't fit each other. No. Alright, I'll try the tail. Oh, wouldn't you look at that? The tail works excellently. Okay, maybe I can try the torso again. No, it got stuck. Why? Well, at least I know the legs work. There's some extra filament here. Forget it. Oh, hi, Mocha. Sorry for the mess. Well, at least let me get the arm. Nope, it doesn't work. You know what? I give up. Yeah, that was bad. As I said, I decided to give up. My girlfriend proposed we add some metal wire inside the model and use it that way, and yeah, I think I'll try that, but I still want the print to work. Another idea I had is to maybe make her as a plushie. I found this page called Plushify, which takes your 3D models with their seam cuts and helps do the pattern for you to sew it all together. I have some experience doing plushies. This puppy cat was made for my girlfriend based off of some other pattern I adjusted, and I tried making my own, but with this website I could actually skip most of the trial and error. Right now I'm working on a bunny plushie for Easter, so I'll maybe update you on that. But for now, I would like to take some rest from complex 3D prints and maybe try to give life to Katastara some other way. So join me next time as I make Katastara's home in 3D. And yeah, that was today's video. I'm sorry for not finishing Katastara, but I think you would like my other subsequent trials. But for now, you know the drill. Like, subscribe if you liked the video, and even hit the bell so you don't miss where I take Katastara's world next. I'll be seeing you around, pals.